Okay, I think we can start letting people in, and then I feel like more will kind of trickle in as we go on. But the beginning will still be like introductions and things.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Business Career Fair, our fourth and last workshop of GFB Con in 2022. I'm Rachel Wang, and I am the founder and executive director of Girls for Business.
Hi, guys. I'm Sophia. I'm one of the co-founders and co-directors here at Girls for Business, and we are so excited to see everyone, and thank you all so much for joining today.
Hi everyone, I'm Ivy Shi, a co-founder and co-director of operations of Girls for Business. A special thank you to our wonderful panelists here with us today, Ms. Victoria Zammit, Ms. RyanWallick, and Ms. Divya Ramamurthy for speaking today. Now I'll pass it on to Angelica, the co-director of operations at Girls for Business, also a co-host of today's event.
Hi everyone, I'm Angelica. You probably recognize me if you've been coming to our events today at GFB Con, but this is our last workshop. So thank you so much to everyone who made it to the career fair. I'm a co-director of outreach at Girls for Business. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope you've been having an amazing time and an amazing weekend. Just so we know who's here and kind of to warm up for today's event, could everyone type your name, grade, and the field of business that you're most interested in the chat. So I'm a senior in high school from Maryland, and I'm really interested in marketing, management, and intersections with the entertainment industry. So that's a little bit about me, and hopefully you guys, I'll see you guys like trickle in kind of in the chat. But while that's coming in, we can also just go into our event structure rundown. So today at our Business Career Fair, we hope to educate, inspire, and empower all middle and high school girls in pursuing a business career and assist in your exploration of various business fields. So we've invited 3 highly experienced panelists who are currently pursuing business pathways at a range of amazing schools, places, careers, and just so many unique experiences. They'll be sharing with you unique perspectives, exclusive education and career tips, and what it truly means to thrive in their fields, as well as how their studies and what they're doing are aiding them in their personal and professional goals. So we're so excited for our 3 amazing panelists to share these experiences and to kind of go over our structure. First, I'll be briefly introducing our organization and sharing our initiatives really quickly. Then our panelists will be introducing themselves more, and then we'll go deeper into our panel discussion where we'll be pulling from RSVP questions from you guys and also allowing you guys to answer ask questions in the chat live. So we'll wrap up with some panelist information at around 4:45. If we need contact information for anyone who can't get their questions fully answered today, or if we need further inquiries, or if anyone wants to reach out with further inquiries, as well as how to get involved with our organization and future events. And we'll also be taking the group photo in the middle. So without further ado, a little bit about Girls for Business. As you've probably heard multiple times today, we're a global student-led nonprofit dedicated to empowering girls interested in exploring business career pathways. And we were established 2 years ago in June 2020, and we're driven by over 120 members with a huge global impact thanks to your guys' support. Since business is so scarce in our school curriculum, we want to encourage middle and high school girls in pursuing pathways through a provision of educational resources. And we have 3 core programs: our mentorship, resource, and community programs. Mentorship, we provide one-on-one mentorship to over 150 student mentees who receive amazing guidance from college students and business professionals. We also release bi-weekly newsletters and accessible media content, as well as host monthly events and annual conferences such as the one you're at today. And through our community initiatives, we've impacted over 40 countries internationally, which is really amazing. So now I'm really excited to pass it on to one of my outreach coordinators, Beth, to help me introduce our panelists today.
Hello again, everyone. My name is Beth, and I'm an outreach coordinator at Girls for Business. Today, you'll be hearing from Ms. Victoria Zammit, Ms. RyanWallick, and Ms. Divya Ramamurthy.
Yeah, thank you so much, Beth. And our panelists will be introducing themselves and sharing their general experiences with you all in the next few slides so you can all get to know them. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Victoria.
Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria, and I'm really excited to be speaking to you all today. So thank you, Girls for Business, for including me in this event. I'm a rising sophomore at UPenn. I am in a dual degree program, so I'm studying computer science and finance and exploring the intersection between both industries. So this past summer, I was in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, and I was doing blockchain developing and software engineering for a crypto startup. So that was a very interesting industry to be a part of this past summer, especially. Some of my experiences at Penn include starting a tech consultancy called Diversitech at Penn. I'm also interested in VC. So I've been doing some diligence work for our Penn undergraduate capital partners. I've also been doing software engineering for Hack for Impact, where we build web apps and mobile apps for nonprofits. I also am a tutor for algorithms and data structures. If you're ever interested in computer science, that's a pretty notorious class that you do have to take. I've also have some experience with consulting and have done analytics consulting for a small consulting firm and have worked with cool companies like Estee Lauder and Tom Ford and the beauty industry. So that was super cool. And I've also done research on medical isotope technology at Princeton Plasma Physics Lab. But outside of work and school and business, I love playing ice hockey and volunteering, traveling the world. I left Dubai a couple times this summer to go to India, go to Greece and Israel and see more parts of the world. So I'm really passionate about that, and I love hiking and cooking as well.
All right, thank you so much, Victoria. That's super cool. And I'll pass it to Sierra to introduce herself next.
Hey everyone, so I am not as cool as Victoria. Let me just start by saying that was such a cool introduction. But I noticed some of you are interested in entrepreneurship and also sustainability, and I have done things in both of those industries. So when I was 10 years old, I founded a nonprofit called Autumn Leaf Fundraisers, and it still continues today. We've raised over $100,000 for other nonprofits using our fundraising method, and that's what got me interested truly in entrepreneurship. I started that, super young, and I did that all through high school, middle school, and high school, and continue it today. And then about 3 years ago, I started a social entrepreneurship enterprise called Upcycle Design. And so we divert waste materials from landfills while also supporting community causes and professional development with our team internally as well. So we try to have impact in every area of what we do, but our core focus is kind of sustainability and philanthropy. So I have a team of about, 12 to 14. We're onboarding a couple new people right now. And it's my dream company. So I'm just so grateful to be doing that. I forgot to put on here, I also study entrepreneurship at the University of Delaware. So I'm kind of taking part-time classes while I'm working full-time on my startup. I'm also a Girls for Business advisory board member, and I've also been a mentor in the past. I still mentee or mentor my mentee on the side. Actually, we meet every other week, so I'm still active. And I also, some of my passions include, or I guess I should follow my own my own bullet points here. I guess I'm a YouTuber, so I release twice a week vlogs just behind the scenes of entrepreneurship. I also have a lot of health issues, so it kind of follows, college social entrepreneur with health issues. I love mentoring. I mentor even beyond this program, super passionate about that. And I also just gave a TEDx presentation and spoke at an event this summer. So now I can say I'm a TEDx speaker, which was on my dream board for a while. And then my hobbies, I was just so excited to talk about what I'm passionate about, but I skipped ahead to that. But my hobbies include hiking. I love studying Stoicism and just philosophy in general, and also listening to podcasts. I'm doing that in a lot of my spare time. So yes, so excited to be here, and I can't wait to jump into some questions in a bit.
Thank you so much, Sierra. I love how passionate you are about everything here. And yeah, congrats on the TEDx speech. I think, Sarah, definitely you're super involved with Girls for Business, and we really appreciate your support. And personally, I don't know if anyone follows your Instagram page, but I'm a huge fan of your Manatee Mondays, I would just like to say. But I think I love how passionate you are about everything you've spoken about. And I'm really glad you're here today. And I'll pass it on to Divya for our last panelist introduction.
Hey guys, so I'm Divya. I'm originally from Houston, Texas, and I graduated in May of this year from UPenn with a finance and operations management concentrations. And so at UPenn throughout college, I was doing consulting through an organization called Muse. And I was a teaching assistant for an introductory Wharton course. Throughout my summers at Penn, I tried to explore as much of finance as I could. I started off my freshman year working at the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is a financial regulatory company. And then I kind of shifted my sophomore year, worked at Goldman Sachs in their finance and asset management investing group. And then finally, my junior year, I decided to work in the private equity kind of area at KKR and loved it so much. So I decided to return there for full time. So I just graduated in May. So have been working for about 3 weeks in New York right now. It's super exciting, super overwhelming at times, but very excited. And I'm working in the private credit area. So pretty similar to private equity, but just like a different division. And outside, I guess I'm very, 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 very interested and very passionate about dance. I was in a dance team in college and all throughout high school and middle school and junior high. So very involved with dance. And I love a cappella. I've been singing since I was 5 or 6 as well, and love musicals and doing all of that. And I love teaching and mentorship. So another reason why I'm just like Sierra, I was also a mentor for GFB and I'm currently on the advisory board as well. But yeah, I'm so excited to meet all of you guys and can't wait to see what questions you guys have.
Thank you so much, everyone. Now that we have completed our introductions, we'll be transitioning to our panelist discussions. We'll delve deeper into their personal and professional experiences.
Yep, thank you so much, Beth. So we'll first be starting off with a couple of the most frequently asked questions and requested topics from you guys in our RSVP form. And to our panelists, if any question speaks to you, particularly throughout the discussion, please feel free to chime in. So I'll pass it to Beth to ask our first question.
Our first and most frequently asked question is, how did you get into business and what advice would you give to young individuals interested in the business field?
I guess I could jump in first. So I got interested in business super young, but I didn't start out at 10 years old being like, I want to do entrepreneurship. I didn't even know what entrepreneurship was, let alone social entrepreneurship. I had no idea. But I saw a problem, which was, most of the money we've raised has gone to animal organizations. And so I saw like, oh, I want to help animals and all nonprofits need funding. I'm going to go solve that issue. So that's kind of how I got started, as I was just like, I'm passionate about something. I want to solve an issue. And that's what entrepreneurship is. So I put that all together and that's kind of how I got started. And the advice I would give, I have so much. Let me give top 3. Let's start with top 3. Definitely connections. Connections mean everything, especially in the business world, especially in entrepreneurship. So I would start a LinkedIn like immediately and start connecting with everyone connect with us. We all have LinkedIn's, connect with us, reach out, say, oh, I really enjoyed this, make connections in your network. So I would say LinkedIn is huge. I started that in high school and I have maybe like 2,000 connections or something now. And I get so many opportunities because of LinkedIn. I think people found me from Girls for Business on LinkedIn, and that's how I got connected. So you never know where LinkedIn will take you. Another suggestion I have is getting a mentor. So I have what I call a tribe of mentors, and I had mentors for different things. For my startup, I have a sewing mentor because our products are sewn and embroidered and handmade. I have, a finance mentor. I have a social venture mentor. So definitely asking for advice from people and having your go-to people for that. And then also, I would say just ask questions, be curious, and follow what energizes you. So a lot of people call that a passion, right? But if something is exciting you, I get curious about stuff all the time. Follow that, explore that, and that might give you a little bit more sense of what exact part of business you're also interested in, because there are so many different areas and so many different jobs. So yeah, that would be my advice for people interested in business.
I think, sorry, Divya, do you want to go
Oh,
first?
go ahead, Victoria.
Okay, just building off of what Sierra said, I always thought that I was going to be an engineer. And so in high school, I was very sciencey, very STEM oriented. And I landed this internship at Princeton Plasma Physics Lab. And I was working on like a biomedical technology device that I thought that, I would be doing research, go to grad school, get a PhD in engineering my whole life. But then, as I was working on this research project, it transitioned from designing the product to now, okay, how do we scale this product? How do we distribute this product, turn it into a business? And so that experience of taking it from a patent to developing it into a full-scale business kind of inspired me to also apply to business school as well, to get that experience. And I think that was something very valuable. And I love that business has the opportunity for breadth. And I think breadth is so important. For me, I did not want to see myself going completely in depth in one topic. And, the PhD didn't really sound great anymore, but getting the breadth from business school and being able to take classes in finance and marketing and real estate and, all different aspects of business was really valuable to me. And I think advice I have for girls who are interested in going into business is to never shy away from any opportunities and never to think that you're not good enough, because that's definitely how I felt going into applications for business school. My resume screamed engineering, so why would they accept someone who has never taken an econ class? So one thing you can do is, business people and schools specifically, they love leaders. So continue to have leadership in all of your activities and have social impact, like STEM throughout your activities. And that's my biggest advice. Yeah.
Awesome. And I completely echo what the other two have said, and have a kind of similar story to Victoria. I was also definitely a little more interested in engineering, just growing up at a school that was heavy in science and physics and chemistry and had really good teachers in that area, but had very few classes in business. And I've only took like an econ and stat class and a couple of math classes here and there. But I think slowly by my senior year, I realized that I did like business. And even though I was a little more focused on engineering, I noticed in the back of my mind, I would always do my best to go to everything DECA related or try out new marketing internships over the summer. So I think I realized that even though I didn't have I guess interest in business throughout college or throughout high school, it was in the back of my mind the entire time. And it kind of surfaced my senior year when I was like, okay, what do I want to do in college? And I think I just realized that I liked math. I loved talking to people and forming relationships with people. I love learning about different companies and different industries, not on a super quantitative level yet because I was just in high school, but more on like the macro trends side of things. And I just like to know like what was happening in the world and what was happening between different countries. And I think the biggest thing was I would always kind of raise my hand for applying for leadership positions at schools and service positions, and just wanting to like give back to the community. So I think just exactly what Victoria was saying, like business schools definitely look for leaders. And I think as long as you kind of have those characteristics or want to have those characteristics, I think that's all that they're looking for. So I guess advice based off of that I would give is just leverage upperclassmen like seniors and juniors in high school. If you're a freshman or sophomore, leverage people in college, like freshmen all the way to seniors, because they've been in your shoes and all they want to do is help people that maybe they're close to, or if you're a younger sibling of one of their friends, like they just want to help you get through high school and college like they did. So always reach out to people, even though it's a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but that's how they got to where they were. So just reach out to people, ask what internships or camps or programs that they did in high school and college. I think that's how I've gotten majority of my summer internships throughout college. And also don't follow just like whatever everyone else is doing. I think in college, and especially at business schools like Penn, it's really easy to just follow one path. But there are so many paths within business. Once you get to college, you'll realize that there's real estate, there's marketing, there's psychology and business, there's obviously like technology and business. There's so many different paths that you can take. And even though if the path is like less traveled, there will always be like resources out there that you can find. So just don't fall into the pressure that everyone is telling you to go into finance, or everyone's telling you to go into consulting. But so there are a lot more different options out there. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much to all of you for answering that question. I think those were all really insightful answers. And I really love that you all highlighted like the interdisciplinary aspect of business. I think that's really valuable to hear, especially for like younger girls who aren't really sure what they're doing and, are just looking for advice. So thank you all so much. Another popular question was, what skills or skill would you say are the most important to have going into the business industry, or just like a career in general, as younger people kind of going into college and into these fields?
I can start off. I guess like maybe 3 things that I think I've seen throughout my internships and just like the past couple of weeks of working. But just public speaking is definitely a big skill to have. Even if you don't know what you're talking about all the time, being confident and speaking with poise and elegance, and just slowing down if all of your thoughts are rushing at you, and just using your voice to project is super, super helpful, and definitely gains a lot of respect from a lot of people. Because there are so many people out there in the business world that may not be the best at public speaking. So if you do have that skill, it definitely puts you above everyone else. And it's definitely something that you can kind of develop throughout high school. I think that's when I kind of focused on it my junior and senior year of high school. Just joining things like debate and Model UN or student government is what helped me with my public speaking, I would say. And going into college with those skills definitely helped me and made me feel more confident. The second thing I would say is always raising your hand for everything and never saying no at a young age. I definitely, when you get older and you have more things on your plate and you've been in your role or position for a while, you definitely should kind of see what capacity you have and say no to things, like when you have like family or other things to do in your life. But when you're young and hungry and eager for things, I would definitely say just go for whatever you can. Don't overwork overwhelm yourself, but always raise your hand for more responsibility, getting on a different project, getting more work assigned in an internship. Just always show them that you're eager and ready to just work as hard as you can. And I think another thing is just showing respect to everyone that you're working with. I think that's been super big, at least in all of my internships. And now I've kind of seen how they assess interns and how they bring back interns or decide not to bring interns back. And I think people in the workplace just want to be respected. And once you kind of get to that stage, like, I think all you'll want is just respect from your peers and respect from people that are younger than you. So just make sure you're constantly just being formal over emails. If you're ever emailing someone that's super, super high up, or someone that you don't know. And once you kind of like have a personal relationship, you can definitely relax and not be as formal. But when you're first talking to someone, definitely try to be a little bit more professional, and they'll kind of tell you what their preferences are, because some people definitely want you to kind of say all of like the typical parts of an email, like an introduction and then a paragraph and then closing at the end. So just make sure you're constantly showing respect, and then everyone will also show you the same respect that you deserve in a workplace environment. But I think those are my 3 things that I've kind of learned over the past 3 weeks, actually.
I can jump in too. So from kind of my own experiences working on, my startup, internships, part-time jobs, all of that, and then also from seeing kind of interns on my own team and who's working best and how it works, I think, again, 3 things that I would recommend. One is just take initiative. Think entrepreneurially with an entrepreneurial mindset. You can use that in any industry, any job. Doesn't even matter if you're not in business. You can be a chef or a nurse and use it too. And if you don't know what that is, kind of looking it up. There's so many books on it. There's so many articles, but it's basically innovating, problem solving, resilience, all of that. So definitely taking initiative, and kind of that leads into my second one is offering to help and providing value to people, and then kind of following through on those things too. And you want to make your own opportunities. There are so many opportunities out there, but if you're not getting some of them, make your own opportunities. Offer to help, with your boss or with other team members. What are your challenges? How can I help solve them? That is just like incredibly, it's a gift. I've had team members on my team that are interns ask that, how can I help you with your tasks? And I'm like, wow, thank you. So like people remember that when you're offering to help and you're providing value. And then I think third, communication. That is just one of the number one, even in life, not even just business, even in life, but it is so important. Ask questions. If you don't understand something, it's not the end of the world. It's not a bad thing. Ask questions, ask for clarification. That lets your, manager or boss or whatever know that you want to make sure you're doing a good job, and that you are clarifying if something is a little confusing, or if you just want to make sure. That is so incredibly important. So it's communication, I think, across everything, and learning how to work with teams, learning some of those interpersonal skills in how to communicate, watching body language, all of that is so incredibly important. And I can go into so much detail about any of that. So if you have further questions about that, feel free to reach out to me, on LinkedIn at the end. But yeah, those kind of 3 things I think are some of the things that I've found to be most helpful and important.
Yeah, building off of what Sierra said about communication, also responding in a timely manner is very essential. And do not keep anyone lingering, because they will not help you if you are not responding right away. So definitely just be very timely with your responses, be respectful, as Divya mentioned. And going off of what Divya was talking about before with being hungry, same thing, right? Be very inquisitive and just go the extra mile at understanding what you're doing, what your task is. As someone who has worked in Web3 this whole summer, right? It's such a very, very complicated industry, so much at stake, people's security at risk. So as a developer, right, who is creating the technology on the blockchain, there's such high stakes. right? That I would have to ask questions left and right about everything that I'm doing, ask questions about every single line of code, just because, right, you don't want to make any mistakes that's going to cost the company. And my very first business class at Wharton, the professor says you guys should be reading Bloomberg every morning, read Financial Times, read Business Insider, right? You need to be very on par with everything that's going on in the world, right? The war with Russia, how does that impact inflation? How does the Fed's interest rate, how is that affecting the economy? You have to be on your toes about knowing current events. Like, knowing current events is so important. And you're going to be just grilled in your classes about it. So definitely just keeping up to date with that is really important and super valuable.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. All of those tips are needed for any career path, as you said, Sierra. So the next question is, what was a challenge you faced as a student in business or entrepreneurship, and how did you overcome it?
I guess one thing comes to mind as a student, specifically as a student, so I go to the University of Delaware, great school, but they teach you a lot, and this might be a very specific thing that might not be helpful to a lot of people, but they teach a lot of how to find a problem, not a lot about how to solve it and like actually pursue your venture, right? Like, I'm at a point where I'm like, how do I do taxes? How do I do payroll? How do I like, it's just like, these are like kind of adult things. And I'm like, wow, this is getting serious. Like, we have contract workers, we have vendors in our company. Like, I need to know all these details, and not a lot of classes on that. A lot of students don't get to that point. A lot of students don't start ventures. So a lot of it is like, do you have what it takes to get through the hard stuff? Are you going to go learn that on your own? Are you going to go ask people? Are you going to find people who know that stuff, who can help you out? And so I think a lot of it is just like taking the initiative, going back to taking the initiative, right? Like, if you don't know how to do something, and if you haven't been taught in your classes, how are you going to go figure out that information on your own? Because that's what life is about. People don't, even in school, we're not taught how to do like personal taxes. Like, none of that is taught. You just have to figure it out. And so just as a life skill, taking initiative, go figuring it out. Don't be helpless. That's just, we don't need that here. We need, all right, I don't know how to do this. How am I going to go figure this out? Am I going to read a book? There's a lot of that in the world. And if you're someone who takes the bulls by the horn and just goes for what they want and doesn't take no for an answer and just keeps figuring out how to do it, you will go far. Because a lot of people give up because it is hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is hard. So you just got to push through that. Yeah.
I would say, I guess in the high school realm, there were a couple of challenges with just not having business classes to take, just because like my public school just didn't have it. And it wasn't like any type of business curriculum. We just had like normal AP classes like econ and stat, and like calc. So very, very general classes that didn't really apply to, I guess, like what I have seen throughout like taking my business classes right now. And I think colleges now are looking for even more than they were looking for when I was applying to colleges. And they're probably looking for different types of internships or research projects or like programs over the summer that you did. So I think that was definitely a challenge for me, just to like find those things out there, because they weren't very common, I think, when we were applying to college. So I would definitely just leverage all of your family friends, your friends, their parents, like anyone that you can. Just ask them if you could do something simple like shadowing them at their office. Like, if that's all you can find right now, just like go to their office for like a day or two and just see what they do and see how they can help you out, how you can help them out, and try to make that into like a working relationship that you could maybe do the entire summer. And a lot of opportunities, I think, in high school come from that. There are definitely so many like business schools now that are putting programs out there for business leaders and leaders that are in their sophomore or junior year of high school. So definitely look at those and try to apply to those. But I know that those are like very limited programs. And I think one area that I definitely had like a little bit more luck in high school, it was a kind of friend that I made through DECA, and she had a startup. And I just reached out to her one day and she was like, oh, you seem to really like marketing. And I was like, oh, I do. And if you ever need help on your startup, like I would be more than happy to. And she ended up creating some type of like internship program just for me to like work at her startup for 6 months during the school year. And I think that helped a lot when I was applying to colleges, because it showed that I actually had an interest in business and I could kind of prove that I had that interest. So you never know where opportunities are going to be in high school. So I would always just ask around, cold email people. If someone has a startup that you think is interesting, try to join, like email Sierra after this, because there are so many people that are doing really, really cool things out there with ideas and solutions that they have for problems around the world. And if you could help them, they would be more than happy to create some type of program for you. And it's only going to benefit them and you at the end of the day. So definitely look at startups and different types of programs throughout high school, because it may be hard to find, but there's something out there for you guys.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience, even just in college. So I was a freshman at Penn, right? And I thought my big flashy UPenn Wharton degree was gonna just automatically land me an internship. And boy, was I wrong. I must have applied to over like 100 literally internships, big tech, banks like Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, everything rejected. And so I thought, what the heck is going on? You know, like I must be doing something wrong. My resume must be bad. Like I don't know what's going on. And the biggest thing I learned this year after all of that, and so much, I was so like turned down by everything. I was feeling very defeated in March when I didn't have an internship, and you know the sophomores were already posting about their junior year internships. So it's easy to get defeated by comparing yourself to others. But you know, in order to pull myself around for this summer, it was, as Divya is saying, use your connections, go on LinkedIn, right? I found Penn alums who had startups, and you know, sending out all the cold emails. And being really good at cold emailing is such a good skill, because you will be doing that for your entire college career. You will be cold emailing people for internships. If you're in consulting clubs or any clubs that does case work, working with actual clients, you're going to have to cold email to get them to work, to partner for your club, right? So at Penn, I started a consulting club, and we wanted to work on two case projects per semester. And so that has been hundreds and hundreds of cold emailing every single connection you know at companies to try to get them to get a response, right? And so you have to do the math to get a couple numbers, a couple responses. But you really just need that diligence to stick with it, and something good will come out of it for sure.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Those were all really great answers. And I think those are really valuable tips to know. I think because we're nearing like 4:40, we did want to get some live questions in if anyone had any. If you do want to put any in the chat, feel free to do that, or you could direct message me if you're not comfortable with that. Okay, we do have one question that just came in from Yvonne. What other type of sources would you recommend to stay up to date with business? So I guess any platforms or any helpful resources to just learn from, or yeah.
I use Morning Brew sometimes because it's like very short and sweet. It shows up in my email every day, and I check my email pretty often. So Morning Brew is really good for me. But you can also do like Wall Street Journal, New York Times. Sometimes they're like pretty entertaining if it's like a hot story going on. So those are just some things that I use.
Yeah, I really like Robinhood snacks actually. So if you have a Robinhood account and you like investing your money, which is something maybe you'll get into in your later years of high school, but they send out weekly emails and they're usually pretty funny too. So Robinhood snacks, also TechCrunch podcasts are super interesting as well if you're interested in tech.
Yeah, I totally agree with what everyone's been saying. I think newsletters are a great way to do that. There's like James Clear's newsletter. There's a ton of newsletters out there. And I think books are a great way to do that. I think you can learn a lot from, it's like having a conversation with the author. Who do you want to have a conversation with? You can learn so much from that tried and true method that has gone into a book form. And then I think podcasts, like has already been mentioned, there are so many podcasts out there that keep you up to date on news, that are great interviews with just like Tim Ferriss's podcast. I listen to a lot of those interviews. So many resources out there. So yeah, those are the three that I'd recommend: newsletter, podcast, and books.
And then answering the next question about cold emailing effectively, I would say keep it brief. Just because people are busy, they're not going to read a whole essay. So definitely, if you have like a mutual connection, definitely flash their name as soon as possible. And then show that you're not just copy and pasting and just changing the name over and over, right? You want to show some interest. So definitely do your research on the person or their company and give a personal paragraph on, you know, why you're interested specifically, and give something like company specific. And they'll be more inclined to respond for sure.
All right, thank you so much, guys, for answering all of the questions. We are nearing the end of our event time, so I think we do have to wrap up. But before we get the presentation back up, I wanted to take a Zoom group picture just for this workshop. It's the last one for GFB Con today, so if you're here and if you're comfortable with turning your camera on, that would be really appreciated. And thank you guys so much for coming. We will just take a quick little picture for our conference recap.
Yep. On this slide, we have our panelists' contact information. If you would like to reach out later, asking questions we couldn't get to today, you can contact them through the LinkedIn you see here, and I'll give you guys a few moments to take a screenshot.
All right, I think we can move on. And yeah, LinkedIn, I would say, is a super great resource. So I would definitely recommend if you don't have one. I think we did meet most of our panelists through that platform, so it is really helpful. Moving on, here are all of Girls for Business's socials. I think I've promoted this like 5 times today, but if you aren't already following us, and if you want to stay updated on all things Girls for Business, business career tips, updates on our mentorship program, event updates, live panelists or live conference updates are going up right now for GFB Con, and you guys are at our last workshop, so you're definitely going to be featured in our recap post. We have so much stuff going up. We have cool media content, so be sure to stay updated with us. And I think I can move on to the next slide, where I think Rachel wanted to introduce, okay, not yet, sorry. There's a lot more links and things here, but you can just feel free to scan the QR code to access all of them. If you do want to sign up for business mentorship, our one-on-one mentorship application is open all year round, and you can also subscribe to our mailing list to get bi-weekly newsletters from our amazing writing team, or you can apply for our team. You can join Girls for Business or become a business ambassador, and I would highly recommend the outreach team. We are looking for new members. And if you want to help out, if you want to help co-host events or plan events like this, I would super recommend applying. And you get to work with me, so, you know, really good opportunities. But here's every way you can get involved with us. And now I'll pass it to Rachel to add a little extra thing that we put in.
All right, thank you so much, Angelica. Without further ado, I'll pass it on to Sierra to actually talk about GFB's exciting sticker collaboration with Upcycle. So if you could go on to the next slide, please. Oh, maybe.
Okay, I think we need to refresh it because we
Yes.
did add this a little last minute. So you might have to go out of the slide and go back in. Google Slides does that sometimes. But we did want to feature a little sticker collab that we have.
I can also show it on my thing too. I have one right
Oh,
here.
that's so perfect.
Too. There you go. Yeah, that works too. So yeah, I could talk about it just a little bit. I don't want to take up too much time, but yeah, so my startup Upcycle Design, we create cause-themed stickers. So we made one specifically for Girls for Business, and they're actually made from all upcycled material. So the fabric base itself is made from upcycled fabric that we divert from landfills and the environment. The embroidery thread is made from actually plastic bottles, which I think is so cool. So yeah, and we donate $5 from each sticker sold to Girls for Business. So go check it out, support my startup, and support Girls for Business. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sierra. It's so incredible what you do, and we're so glad that we could have our own little sticker. So if anyone's interested, feel free to check it out. But that brings us to the end of our workshop and also the end of our conference. Thank you all so much for attending GFB Con. This is like a once a year thing, and it's a really big thing for us, and especially outreach. I had so much fun planning this and coordinating with all of our speakers for this entire day. So feel free to connect with any of our speakers from today, and also just check out Girls for Business. We're really glad that we were able to help you, explore your business passions a little bit more. And Rachel, did you have any closing words or anything? I'm not sure if I missed anything important.
Yes, I have a few final words for everyone before we officially wrap up. So as we concluded our last workshop of the day with the Business Career Fair, we are officially also concluding the 2022 Girls for Business Conference. So we just want to say thank you so much to everyone for coming out to our workshops, panels, and networking session. We appreciate each and every one of you attendees, and we're just constantly inspired by your self-starting pursuits in business. So our team at Girls for Business is so excited to see all the business endeavors that all of you will go on to accomplish in the coming years. And we really hope that the insights that you've gained today at GFBCon will play a part in fueling those ambitions. So at the same time, we truly hope you continue to be involved with Girls for Business, to see you at future events or have you as a part of our team. So from free mentorship opportunities to working as an international team member, there is a place for everyone here in the GFB community. So last thing, if you have any questions, suggestions, or would like to get involved with GFB, please contact our team via email at team@girlsforbusiness.org. An event email recap will also be sent following this conference with all of this information and a feedback form that we would really appreciate your input on. So last thing is, once again, thank you everyone to coming out to our second annual GFB Con, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. So thank you everyone again, and see you very soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.